Good evening. On behalf of the governing body of the City of Passaic, we welcome you to the June 18th, 2024 City Council meeting. In accordance with Chapter 231, Public Laws of 1975, adequate notice of this meeting was provided by a resolution of the Municipal Council adopted on June 13th, 2023, setting forth the schedule of meetings for the year 2023-2024. Said notice was published and posted on the City Hall Bulletin Board by the Office of the City Clerk. Please be further advised, this meeting will be conducted in person. The Zoom stream provided is for viewing only and is offered to the public as a convenience. On June 7th, 2024, public notice and Zoom instructions for this meeting was published in the Herald News and posted on the City of Passaic website at www.cityofpassaic.com, Council Agendas. Instructions are also available on the last page of this agenda. Please be guided accordingly.
Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Mello,
Present.
Councilman Schwartz,
Present.
Councilman Garcia,
Present.
Councilwoman Colon Montañez,
Present.
and Council President Scheer.
Present, shall we all please rise?
Heavenly Father, we thank you, Lord, for allowing us to be present this evening. Lord, we ask you to please guide us in the decisions that will take place this evening. In your beloved name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our meeting of June 18th. If you don't have a copy of the agenda, it's available to you on our website, or else if you're physically in chambers, they are available outside the door. On the website, you can find all items which will be discussed at tonight's meeting, including all resolutions, ordinances, communications, and the like. We invite you to participate. At this time, we are up to Roman numeral 4 of our agenda, the mayor's update. Mr. Mayor, what a great pleasure it is to see you in Uruguay, Havana.
Thank you, Council President. I was at my son's birthday party. We took him out to eat early. Yeah.
I think the rest of us are jealous that we're not wearing one.
I got to get you some. I'm very excited about it. Council President, members of the City Council, residents, department heads, and all those that are with us, I wanted to share, before I go into the regular reports of events and activities, there have been some concerns. I know I've spoken on a number of occasions with Councilman Monk, with the rest of the City Council. PSENG has continued to do work around our city. However, there have been some concerns expressed in terms of the polls and the conditions that they have been left in. I went around personally and took pictures around the city. I sent them to our business administrator along with our engineer, and a meeting was set up with the representative from PSENG in order to address when they will be coming back. We understand that they're working on multiple municipalities. However, it is important that they leave areas, especially when they open up sidewalks or the street, at least in the conditions they found them in. Most times they pave the road. We've been pushing for complete streets to be paved. Some of the delays, and I know that most residents aren't privy to this information, some of the delays may be caused because they're scheduling more work later on, or we may be funding a full paving of the road. So having them do it, we may negotiate and say, don't do this one because we're going to do it, but if you can do 2 of the other roads in both sides. But I do want to let the residents know and update all of the council members that we have set up meetings with the PSCNG representative to address some of the main concerns, especially in terms of the poles and the sidewalks and why they're being left in these conditions. We have reached out to some other municipalities, and I know some people have seen it in the news. We're not the only city, and there have been concerns from Wayne to other municipalities of this work. Again, I'm going to wait for after the meeting to get more details, but it appears that PSCNG is attempting to expedite some of their scheduled work through the season, and they may be trying to get the work done first and then come back around to redo the sidewalks or the area around the poles and some of the streets. However, we want to come up with a timeline for the council, as it is that you receive numerous phone calls regarding this. I want to give some updates as to some work that's being done around the city. We're extremely excited. The new parking lot on River Drive and Paulison has begun right across the street from Passaic County Community College. It is often referred to as Jack Tatum Way. Many of you may not know that our council president went to football camp with him. Only one of them made it to the pros. Sorry, council president. But everyone knows who Jack
Strange how
Tatum
the
is.
council president looks like the assemblyman also. You forgot, Mary, you forgot.
None of us made it pro. But in that specific area, we're converting that land, which was really just not used, a space of grass right by the highway, to 31 new public parking spaces a few feet away from the stadium, right across the street from Passaic County Community College, which leads to the next announcement. I'm so very excited. After sitting down with Dr. Rose, I want to commend this city council, our representatives locally, our assemblymen on the state, the relationships that we maintain with the county, our administration. I'm excited to announce the city of Passaic will be receiving through Passaic County Community College $10 million to build a brand new building on that site, right by the satellite site, and expand the educational opportunities in a state-of-the-art facility. I don't even know if it still can be called the satellite site, Council President. We might rival the main campus, but we're very excited because it's proven to be a huge success. I want to take this opportunity, along with my colleagues on the council, if I may, to also commend the work of the Board of Education, the administration there, as it is that we've been able to work together to expand opportunities for our graduating students to leave with 60 credits, many of them graduating with associate's degrees before they even begin their first day of college. And for most of us who are still paying off college loans, we understand that going into college with 60 credits already earned is huge savings for families from our city. But again, I can't speak more highly of this council, of the work of the board, of our teams working together as a community, because to have been identified as a city to receive $10 million to expand on the Passaic County Community College, provide educational opportunities in these fields that are becoming extremely competitive, but necessary, whether it's the medical fields, specific trades, respiratory tech, pharmaceutical techs, and so much more. And I know that they're going to focus a lot of the attention in the healthcare industry, perhaps providing opportunities for future nurses and so much more. So we're so very excited about that. Last week, Council President, and this week, we shared with the community that we would have a meeting virtually regarding the bicycle routes and the potential bicycle routes in the city of Passaic. It was very well attended. We want to thank the representatives from the state and from the county and locally. Our BA was on that meeting. I was on that meeting. And we were able to address concerns. Some of the things that we discussed for the city of Passaic were road expansions, specific bike lanes, whether on Broadway or on Lexington, and other areas that we may be able to identify that would be conducive as we encourage, obviously, more recreational activity, physical fitness, but from a pragmatic perspective, transportation. We know there are many cars, but some people can't afford vehicles, and some individuals use bicycles to get to work or go around. So we're very excited. The unique opportunity that is available is, though it stops at the county line, one of the things that myself, along with our business administrator, have been adamantly pushing is that they connect to the bike lanes in other municipalities, whether it's Bergen County, Wallington, and Garfield, or neighboring municipalities of Clifton or around, in order to make it a bit of a tour and an enjoyable experience for those who like to ride bikes every single day, like Councilman Dr. Terrence Love. Though I will admit, I used to see you more last summer, so this summer we're still waiting to see the bike.
The summer just started.
All right, you're right. He used to just ride up in his shorts on his bike, and I'm like, Councilman, he's like just riding around the city. So it was very exciting. We also wanted to share that this weekend We had our Juneteenth community celebration in partnership with the NAACP, different organizations, the UPO. I again want to join with my colleagues in the city of Passaic to humbly let everyone know that we were among the first cities in the state to declare it a holiday, a municipal holiday, provide employees with paid time off, the only to do fireworks. So very humbly, I want to, or modestly, share that. But we were excited that the year after it became a federally recognized holiday, and then after a state recognized holiday. But I do take this opportunity, in all seriousness, to highlight our council because we've been at the forefront, and at certain times, some opportunities, we get to be the very first to do things because we're considering our community. We hear the voices of our residents and we respond. So I wanted to share that. We finished off the evening right in front of Passaic City Hall. It was our 5th annual Juneteenth celebration, and we had fireworks right across the street. We had hundreds of families that came out. We had free ice cream, so the children came from Aspen Place and all over, and we had the elected officials show up. So it was a wonderful community activity, and we were extremely excited. Right in time for the weather, the spray pads are open. So yes, I can feel the excitement from parents, but the spray pads are open. By spray pads, I'm referring to the water amenities that have been added throughout our city. Also, we continue with our efforts of putting down rubberized surfaces in parks. We're working on Tennyson Park next, but we've done it on at number 11 School Park. We've done it on Broadway by Third War Memorial Park. We have it with our county park at Dundee Island Park, as well as we're looking to do it on Harrison, where again, I remind the community that we were awarded $2.5 million in a unique application to create an all-water park in the city of Passaic with 2 big pirate ships and water coming out. We're intending to call it the Pirates of the Caribbean of Passaic. We're still working on whether we can get away with that, but I'm ready to write a letter and invite Johnny Depp to come over and visit us. Yes, on June 14th, we had an extremely successful resource fair right here at the courtyard, led by our Assemblyman, Gary Sher, who was able to bring county resources and representatives along with our city resources, our health department, our amazing and wonderful city clerk and her staff were out there. Thank you so much, Madam Clerk, and to your staff, which continues to remind the community $300 a day to be election poll workers. We're still hiring, but also we explain passport opportunities. We know it's the season. We know people are going to go on vacation with the schools finishing up. This Friday, our high school graduates, and I believe we're having hundreds and hundreds of students. Councilwoman Maritza Colon Montañez, who only graduated high school about 2 or 3 years ago. Do you know the exact number, Councilwoman? I think it's over 500, but we still are getting the final counts. But we are so excited to congratulate them, as well as on behalf of the city and all of us, we congratulate all of the pre-K, all of the 8th graders moving up ceremonies, and all of our graduates from all of our academies. We're so grateful. Over the weekend, Council President, they also had many orientations at the different academies for the children that will be starting next year. So we're extremely excited about that. We also want to let everyone know that we, as a city, have had our first quality of life program special law enforcement officer class 2 sworn in. That's a mouthful. All right, let me just explain very quickly what that is. In the wisdom of our council, working with our administration and through our business administrator and our urban enterprise zone, we were able to apply and request for funding in order to fund additional law enforcement representatives in our city, especially around our commercial districts, for the summer to do walking details, working very closely, and I commend the leadership and vision of our chief of police, Luis Guzman. We will be able to have individuals who are retired or individuals who are qualified work in these areas and supplement, help, or complement and support our police officers, thus expanding our presence. So we're extremely excited as we continue in this initiative. On Thursday, June 20th, U.S. Environmental Protection Agency. We will have a community meeting. The U.S. EPA will be holding a community meeting to inform the public on the Superfund process and status of the cleanup of the upper 9 miles of the Passaic River. Superfund is also coincidentally what I refer to the council president's wallet when we all go out and eat together so that he pays. But outside of that, I'll continue. The U.S. EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, all jokes aside, this is exciting news because as we've seen over $200 million go into the revitalization, redevelopment of our east side, as we see waterfront development becoming extremely popular around the state, the idea that there will be funding to address and mitigate contamination or issues that have been caused from decades, even up to 50 years back in the water, we're extremely excited about that. And we encourage all of our residents to please participate in this virtual meeting or in this meeting. We will put up the link. I'm not 100% sure. I think they changed it last minute. Is it still going to be virtual or in person? In person. They changed the virtual to in person. We will be putting up new flyers. Council President, through the clerk, we will send out the information to all the council members to make sure that everyone is aware of it. Also, we want to let you know that July 3rd through the 7th, we begin our family festivals. Many individuals ask, where are we getting funds for the fireworks for Juneteenth, some of the additional activities? A few years ago, we decided to take a route in an initiative of creating family festivals where we invite these carnival rides. I think right now it's the McDonald's brothers. And the fund that they receive, they bring it back to the city. A portion comes back to the city and we utilize it to fund these additional activities. And it has been going very well every single year. And we've been able to expand without going directly to our tax base in order to provide more recreational opportunities for our communities and our families. Our NJDOT, or the New Jersey Department of Transportation Safe Streets grant funding continues to be a blessing, and we have paving on Montgomery and Monroe and Van Houten and Passaic Ave all completed. We're extremely excited about that. And the state UEZ recently approved the funding of phase 2 for the anticipated cafe at Carney Bragg. Carney Bragg Cafe. So that's over $600,000 that will go in addition to Bragg Park. Over the last few years, we've added lights, music ballards, tables, chairs. Many people may not be aware, having been born and raised in that exact area, that area had no amenities. It was a payphone. There were no benches and no seats. But working with this council, with our recreation, with our administration, we've been able to add amenities throughout the years, and that has been of great blessing. I'm going to finish up, Council President, with just sharing a few of the areas that are up and coming. Over the last just few months, we've been able to repair 45 additional potholes in the last 4 weeks, and that totals in the last few months 165 potholes. I often share with the community that may not be privy. Over the winter, whether it snows or not, the frigid temperatures, whether it's freezing rain, whether it's salting in anticipation of the weather, it takes a toll on our roads. And in the spring, we have to do a lot of repairs. Some of the areas that we have been able to fill: Myrtle Avenue, 4th Street, Prospect Street, High Street, Hope Ave, Gregory, 3rd Street, Reed Ave, Lafayette, 3rd and Virginia, State Street, Hoover, Quincy, Myrtle, Burgess, Monroe, Lafayette, Linden, and 8th Avenue. I share all this just to encourage our community. Please continue to let us know areas that need attention. Sometimes we miss them. Obviously, the council members drive around. They send messages to us. I drive around. Our staff drive around. But the more eyes on the road, the more helpful. So if you let us know, we'll keep track of it. Council President, that is the extent of my report for today. Thank you so very much.
And Mayor, thank you very, very much. I wonder if I could ask you to come back just a moment in terms of something that you announced, and that was the community college.
Yes.
At $10 million, did Dr. Rose share with you some of the particulars that you could share with us, Mayor?
Of course. as I mentioned briefly, it's going to go to expand upon education in the healthcare industry. It will go in the same location as the college right now. They were able to extend their footprint and get the building right next to it adjacent. So they will deconstruct that and construct a brand new building with the $10 million. So we're extremely excited. The funding comes from the state through the college and through the federal government. So we were excited for that opportunity. It will remain a community college, a 2-year college, but we do want to share with individuals that it is a wonderful option for those who are financially challenged or deal with constraints, because you can get many of your credits there and then transfer them to a 4-year university. The timeline, Council President, we do not have yet, but if the council, if it would please the council, I would like to send a letter inviting Dr. Rose to come to our council meeting and just share a little bit, because I think this is going to be exciting news and something that we should all share as much as possible with the community.
And the parking facility that you had mentioned, that's adjacent, isn't it?
Yes,
Across
so
the
the parking lot is going to be right across the street from the Passaic County Community College. So that becomes very beneficial, especially because they don't have a working cafeteria, and we've designated 2 spaces for food trucks. So it's going to be a benefit for the children that walk to the stadium from the high school, for obviously sports events at the high school, as well as for the college, an option there.
And that's $10 million.
$10 million for the building. We were able to save significant amounts of money because we've been identifying areas around the city in terms of the parking lot that are conducive to be transformed into public spaces. So obviously, since we don't have to purchase the land, we save money on that. And then we work through our engineers to design. And once it's presented and acceptable, and we know it's a viable plan, we've been able to increase parking around the city with over 700 new parking spaces. And we're very excited that the work on the parking deck right across the street, over 300 spaces, should begin this year.
And forgive me, at our last meeting, Mayor, if memory serves me correct, you announced about $10 million coming to the city from various sources that you and your administration had successfully achieved.
Yes, sir. It is a wonderful time in the city of Passaic. We've been able to apply for many grants. They are competitive. I remind people there are 564 municipalities in the state of New Jersey, and everyone's competing for grants. Sometimes, and if you would allow, individuals go, well, why are you spending $2 million on a park? Because we applied for Green Acres or open space funds, and you can only use it for a park. It's like winning a $25 card for Dunkin' Donuts and then going to the movies and saying, I want to use it for AMC. They go, no, that's a Dunkin' Donuts card that you won. There are many grants, and we compete for them. And then when we win them, if we win a grant for hiring police officers, legally, we're not allowed to use that grant, let's say, for fixing roads. And over the last few months, we've been awarded millions of dollars for parks, for infrastructure, for flood mitigation, $6 million to address the concerns on Van Howen, right by the train station, an additional $1.6 million. And we fought, this council, my administration, we fought hard, especially after the recent storm. Obviously, FEMA was here to receive funding to finally address the McDonald Brook right by Benson. We will be able to mitigate the culvert, look for some storm draining pumps right by Van Howen Avenue. So we're extremely excited. Just between Harrison Park, Benson, and Van Howen, that's $10 million. But I'm excited on our next meeting to share that with $10 million going to Passaic County Community College and some additional grants that we've been informed that we are expecting to have confirmation on receiving, we're looking at over $25 million coming to the city of Passaic just over the next couple of years, whether it's infrastructure, parking decks, flood mitigation, park improvements, expanding educational opportunities, and so much more. We're still a city that needs to address issues. We still face many challenges. Recently we received grant funding for more garbage containers. We're addressing issues, unfortunately, around our main avenue to minimize littering and the problems that come with that. But I have to take this opportunity to thank this council for your hard work, my business administrator, Rick Fernandez, all of the department heads, because we're working hard and little by little, we're moving forward. And I think that that speaks volumes about the approach of this governing body, of this council, and the recognition from county, state, and the federal government. And it's not just this year. It has been year after year. Thank you.
Just extraordinary.
Thank you, sir.
I just want to be clear, Mayor, that there was $10 million at our last meeting, $10 million at this meeting. We look forward to you keeping up the pace.
I'm hoping.
I just want to be on the record and say we will be so wholly disappointed if you're not able to break the record, because you've set the record several times.
If we stop getting grants, we will all join together and pitch in for the Mega Millions or the whatever, the Powerball. We'll try for the city. We'll all try the best we can.
Mr. Mayor, thank you, sir. Questions for the mayor? Yes, Councilman Long.
Just, it's ironic that you mentioned $10 million that's going to be given to erect another building. Just a few years ago, it was a debate on whether Passaic Community College would be successful here in Passaic. I mean, it was a major debate to the fact that those of us, the natives, had to step up and in meetings let them know that many of our students travel down Main Avenue on bus, spending that money that you just talked about. I mean, with this economy, we're all tight. There's no such thing as, extra money anymore. So I'm just excited that our young people, right, and older people have proved individuals completely wrong. And it's a testimony that they're now ready to erect a building worth $10 million. So I just had to say that. And you spoke about it, 60 credits. That's halfway done. I mean, a college degree is about 120 credits, depending on what you're taking. Kids are almost done for free. That's very exciting. Hopefully one day we'll get a 4-year college to build a $10 million building here. That parking that's going to be, is it going to be free parking as well? Or is it
public parking? First, allow me to address the statement you made. About a week ago, the Passaic County Commissioners held their meeting here in Passaic at the community college. We want to thank the county commissioners, obviously, who oversee the college and their partnership with us. In terms of the parking, some of the approaches that we've taken with the lots are to put meters, obviously to fund our parking authority and to be able to reinvest and create more parking opportunities. And then in some of the other lots, we've left it open depending on the use. Considering the proximity to the school and the stadium, we're having some conversations, but we want to include the council. So if you allow for the next meeting, I'll come with an answer, because there is the opportunity to create meters there. But however, I remind you, when it comes to the proximity to the college and for the kids, sometimes it's not always that easy. Even though college classes rarely go over 2 hours, you can probably put the 4 quarters in. We're still working out how we can make it beneficial to all of the students. And with that college site, we've received report that students from other municipalities are choosing to come to the Passaic Community College satellite site because they enjoy coming here, going to eat, going to shop, which is very exciting. But Councilman, in some of our lots we have, in this law, we are considering it. It is an option, but as of right now, I still want to have conversations with my staff just to really figure out whether that's the most pragmatic approach for the usage there.
And also, Mr. Mayor, you talked about the progress, and then you talked about, this, we still have a lot to do and a long way to go. I'm here to tell you that I'm very pleased with the progress of this administration under your leadership and our city council. Just again, a few years ago, this council chambers was packed weekly with complaints of recreation, not enough to do. There's no parking spaces, all types of issues. And slowly but surely, many of them have been addressed. And again, as we live, there's always going to be issues, right? There's going to come up with just even the involvement of the things that we're doing now. I've never seen as much movement and things going on in Passaic all my life. And I've been here a long time. So I just wanted to say thank you for that. And again, just keep up the good work.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, Councilwoman Miller, please.
Yeah, I just want to make a comment to the mayor and his administration. Thank you for the diligent work that you guys have done. I mean, 31 parking spaces will come a long way, especially when there's activity at the stadium. A lot of them are after hours. So even if there's meters, after hours will come in helpful for graduation, especially when you have the sports events on Saturdays or even Friday nights. So that comes a long way. And for the kids that are attending college, and I mean, just that add-on to the community college is a plus, especially because our community, a lot of the parents can't afford to send our kids to a four-year college. And for them to start with a two-year college, I mean, and even with a degree, that helps a lot. Also, I mean, we see what's happening now with the dual program between the high school and the community college. A lot of our kids are graduating with an associate's. That means they can go to a four-year college and they haven't even tapped into their grants. So they can use that money for the life of the four-year college and pretty much sometimes don't even take a loan because we know grants have a life. But if they haven't tapped into it, that will come a long way. So we really appreciate everything that the administration has done and always being at the forefront, always thinking outside the box. And even there are two spaces for the food truck that will come in handy. I have a boy that after practice was always looking for food, so that will definitely help those kids. So definitely kudos to your administration. Thank you. Really appreciate it.
Any other questions? Thank you, Mayor. We're up to Roman numeral 5 on our agenda, minutes of the February 2024 meeting of this council. Are there any additions or corrections that need to be made to the minutes as presented by the clerk? Seeing no lights at this time, is there a motion, please, to accept the minutes?
So move.
Motion
Second.
and second, roll call, please.
Councilman Monk,
Yes. Yeah, if you hear me or not? Yes, you hear me?
Yes,
We can hear
sir.
you, Council.
Yes. Yes.
Councilman Love,
Yes.
Councilwoman Mello,
Yes.
Councilman Schwartz,
Yes.
Councilman Garcia,
Yes.
Councilwoman Colon Montañez, and Council President Scheer.
Yes, thank you. We're up to Roman numeral 6 on our agenda, hearing of citizens. In accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-1 et sec, the council opens every public meeting for comments of the public. However, in accordance with NJSA 10:4-12, nothing in this act shall be construed to limit the discretion of a public body to permit, prohibit, or regulate the active participation at any meeting. Therefore, please be advised that the council will not entertain any comments from persons who communicate obscene material, make statements which are considered bias intimidation, in which a person intends to intimidate any individual or group because of race, color, religion, gender, handicap, sexual orientation, or ethnicity, or makes comments intending to harass or speak any offensive language. The person who makes these statements will relinquish their allotted 5 minutes for public discussion. We welcome your participation tonight. Is there anyone who would like to address the council, please? Yes, sir. If you please share with us your name for the record.
My name is Yosef Wolf. I just wanted to say, I'm sorry for complaining, but there is an idea in law for the Sunshine Law of equality between the citizens and the representatives. And I'm asking again, how is it that a council member can attend this meeting virtually, but citizens can't fully attend or engage virtually? I'm wondering if there's a way, despite the setbacks and the issues in the past, if there is a way that citizens could engage virtually as well. And specifically because sometimes the hearing of citizens is not at the same time every night. It could be pushed back if there's an event, if there's some type of commemoration, or if the mayor's update or the comments thereafter go on for a while. I do want to express on behalf of myself, and I'm sure everyone else in Passaic and the rest of the council members that have not spoken, thank you for saving time. But this city, compared to other cities, brings in a tremendous amount of funding and grants. It's very clear from the budget compared to other cities, including Clifton. The city, I think it's the city commissioner. I would like to ask, though, I see in the budget that the city commissioner's budget for his office is going up substantially more than other offices. I'm curious if that's another employee that's being added or what that's for. I also want to ask, compared to other cities, the city has a garbage sanitation budget that's bid out. It's going up, not substantially this year, actually only a little bit. But in other cities, there's no line item for tipping. And it seems in this city, there's a substantial line item for tipping. I'm wondering if other cities have it somewhere else, or Passaic is unique that the bid is only for collection and the tipping is paid for by the city, but on whatever it is. I'm asking that because if the city is paying for tipping, there might be abuse. I don't know if there is, but there might be abuse that a sanitation company can pick up garbage from a different municipality or from somewhere else and drop it off as if it's the city's garbage. Additionally, the people collecting garbage, very often in towns that are not careful, people are able to throw in construction materials, they're renovating their house, they're able to throw a few bucks at the garbage men, and it's taken care of because that's not a cost to the sanitation company, it's only a cost to the city. I do want to ask, Team Passaic 522 Paulson Avenue is asking for a entertainment license. Just, are they located at the VA building now on Paulson Avenue? Or is that just something that they're doing there? I do want to ask also, the cost to the city for health insurance is $20 million, about $20 million for the year. Clifton, other cities comparable have similar costs. In Passaic, the employees give 10%. They give about $2 million. It comes out to 10%. In other cities, it's close to 14%. In Clifton, for example, it is 14%. In Patterson, it's 12%. Why in Passaic is it only 10%? Why the employees' contribution only comes out to 10%? It seems to be lower than other cities. I would also ask if $20 million, I don't know the amount of employees in the city. I just would imagine it's around 100, 150. It seems to be costing the city $150,000 to $200,000 per employee for health insurance. That seems outrageous to me, but it could be this the way it is in New Jersey. I do want to ask, this agenda was put up yesterday. I know the city's doing better than in the past, but it still seems like introducing a budget, which might be bringing up taxes by 5%, because the city seems to want to have anticipated last year to collect $72 million. And this year they want to collect $76 million. I don't know, but I'd imagine that people are going to appeal taxes due to values going down, and the multifamilies have higher interest rates. They're going to say that they're making less money. But is that a 5%? Is the city just looking to raise 5% to fill that gap of $4 million, or there's other ways the city anticipates that?
His time
Thank
is
you,
up.
sir. You raised a number of questions, and I hope I wrote down many of them. I think I failed in a few of them. You mentioned the tipping fees. Mr. Fernandez, can you school us in that area? Before
So
you go on,
they're
before you
actually
start,
offset.
it's my understanding that tipping fees are an area in New Jersey that the state government takes very strongly in terms of problems that have been in the past in this whole area with groups that have charged money which is not quite right.
So the thing with the tipping fees is that it's also offset by fees of collection that are done in the city. So we cross-reference that at the end of every year, and there's a portion of it that comes back to the municipal government. So it's not like we pay and there's nothing coming back. The more people that dump in the city of Passaic, let's say through the different establishments, as we pick them up and dump them, we get a percentage of that, and that's submitted to our recycling coordinator. They offset that weight that has been dumped, and then we get a portion of that funding.
I'm right.
Council President, I'm sorry, if I may, in terms of your point, and I know the business administrator will go into detail, it's extremely important that we clarify to the community because the question was regarding potential abuse of that practice, that individuals, first of all, our staff is vigilant to ensure that they're following every single regulation and guideline. However, these individuals, garbage contractors, they have contracts with other municipalities around the state. If they were to be caught, as the council president was alluding to any abuse, they would lose their contracts in the entire state. And they would no longer be allowed. As a city, it's been extremely difficult because as we put out for bids, the cost for garbage services has risen exponentially throughout the state. In fact, every municipality is facing it. Now, you can't always juxtapose one city to a city next to it. We're 3.2 square miles with over 70,000 residents. There's a lot of garbage that is created. If you compare us to a city with less population or a city that's more rural or suburban, they may not have the same amount of garbage. But I want to clarify that because I believe that's where the council president may have been going, that this is not something that they could easily get away with. In fact, it would be extremely hard. If I'm correct, I believe that's where you were going.
You are, Mayor. That's exactly the point that I was going to make and did not do as certainly as well as you did. It's my understanding that this area is one of the most heavily regulated areas there are. And it's in terms of the amount of time that the state takes as well as the federal government and to ensure that there is no violation of RICO, which is the point in the past.
Yeah, and if I could just add
Please.
to that, that cross-referencing I was talking about is not from the same agency. The same agency doesn't report to us. It's another agency that reports there, and then we cross-reference what they claim they dumped versus what the other company claims. So if they, there's a checks and balance, and if, like you said, Mayor and Council President, if they don't add up, that can mean significant loss. If they lose their dumping license, they can't manage any municipality in the entire state of New Jersey.
Good deal. Thank you. The gentleman asked in terms of virtual versus non-virtual meetings of this council. I appreciate him raising the issue. It is certainly something which I will discuss with my colleagues and we'll make a decision on that. But that is a privilege of the council president. So I will certainly take it under advisement. Mr. Fernandez, in terms of health costs, I certainly don't want to explore what other municipalities are doing because frankly, I don't know. And forgive me with all of the accumulated knowledge which you've developed over the past years. I don't believe you would know either, and I wouldn't suggest. But I was curious, he did raise the issue of healthcare costs. Could you address that generally?
Yeah. So if you recall from our last meeting, our health benefit cost has gone up over 30% in the last 2 years. So that's a significant increase. I don't know where the resident got their information, but I can tell you that roughly a family plan is approximately $45,000 per employee. And your single plan is probably in the $25,000 range for a single. And then just in between that is where you get the different makeup of different families. So it's significant increases that have happened throughout. We also were diligent in the review. We went out to look for other opportunities, and this is still the city's most economical option.
Healthcare costs, I can speak to them. I know all of my colleagues can as well, and certainly you the very most. I mean, this is something which we're not only seeing in government, we're seeing this in all elements of our society. Healthcare costs are the driver, and
It's everywhere, Council President. It's everywhere. You can't escape it. No matter where you are, the costs are astronomical.
okay. In terms of the budget document, has that been produced for review by the public as of yet?
Yes.
And so members of the public can go to the clerk's office and get a copy after paying whatever fees might be involved, yes?
Yes.
Council President, also at the direction of the council at the last meeting, it was posted up publicly, the presentation with all of the slides and all of the information. That was at the
And
request of the council.
That was provided to members of the council specifically, and on behalf of my colleagues, we thank you very much for that attention and that follow-up. I'm looking at my notes and offhand I can't make out other things that the gentleman might have said, and I apologize for that, but I did want to tackle the issue of tipping fees specifically, as well as healthcare costs. Okay. Anyone else wish to address the council, please?
Yes, good evening. Council President, I know on the rent control, there is no rent control in the city of Passaic. But there is a big problem that I think so. You have landlords out here charging families from $400 to $1,000 more rent. Is it legal? Is it not legal? What is the draw of the line? I would like to know. My next question is Van Houten Avenue and Passaic Avenue. I have some photos I would like to present to you guys, show you. This is an area in need of resurfacing. Van Houten Avenue and Passaic Avenue. Outside the old tennis court, you got all the overgrown trees. Looks horrible. You have the street light. There's only one street light on the outside of the clay court. On both sides of the street, you only got one light, street light. Under the train path there on Passaic Avenue, the lighting is terrible on the inside and on the outside. There's no lighting. The face of it needs to be refaced because everything's deteriorating. I don't know if you can get a hold of transit, get some kind of funding, because a lot of money's going in that area, but this place looks horrible. Most of you take this every day, this route, Passaic Avenue to the City Hall, wherever you guys are going, back to Clifton, the other way, all in that area. It's just a horrible looking area. Those are my two questions tonight. I'd like to get answers.
I'm sorry, sir, you finished your remarks?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay. So in terms of Van Houten and Passaic Avenue, there are any number of streets, a multitude of streets, if I can use that word, that the mayor shared with us, I believe at our last meeting and our meeting before, detailing, I counted 40, 50 streets that you mentioned that will very soon go into some resurfacing. Certainly the administration's initiative with P&G, making sure that what we build today, they don't take down tomorrow. These are wonderful things. Because we haven't gotten to Van Houten and Passaic as of now, we're going to get there. We're trying to do all the streets. In fact, I should amend that. The mayor and his administration, credit needs to be given where credit is due. And his administration have made sure traditionally that when a street is being resurfaced in one ward, then it is also in the other 3 wards as much as possible. And that message is one which should not be forgotten, Mayor, because it's made a critical difference in people believing that one area of the city is being treated differently than another area when they're all being treated the same, obviously with different needs, but to do so appropriately. In terms of rent control, Mr. Fernandez, do we have rent control?
We do have rent control for anybody who's been in their residence prior to 1999. And I'd like to remind the public that at the mayor's request and initiative and the council passing the ordinance, we do have a set-aside ordinance where every single project in the city of Passaic that is over 5 units is required to have an affordable housing set aside, as well as an ADU ordinance that would allow homeowners to be able to also provide affordable housing within the city of Passaic as a way to help prevent that.
The laws in terms of rent control, are they local, or are they state, or are they federal? How does that work?
So we have a local law. Currently, we have a local law that's in effect.
And if I had an apartment that I was renting today for $400 a month, could the landlord make it $1,000 next month?
No, that would not. So under the law, there's a reasonableness standard, and I'm glad you asked the question, because my next comment was going to be, it all depends on how much their current rent is. And then, so in some cases, 400 is reasonable. In some cases, it's not reasonable. If you're paying for even $800 and you're now going to pay $1,200 to $1,500, then that the court, because it's tenant landlord court, it's not the city of Passaic. So let's make that clear. We don't handle those cases. That's handled in the Superior Court. They would then look and put their reasonableness standard to that increase, and then let the landlord know or the tenant know if they consider it reasonable or not. So it really comes down to the courts, and most importantly, what their initial rent that they're going from is.
Council President, if I may, thank you, Business Administrator, because I really wanted that clarified, and I was going to make that same point. But if I may add, it depends on the lease as well. And oftentimes when we have individuals come to City Hall and say, my rent was raised $300, our first question is, do you have a lease?
Right.
Did you sign the lease? And in some cases, again, and I think the business administrator clarified it, in the lease, it may state, depending on how much you're paying, the rent can be raised $150, $200, or $300. That's why we always advise individuals to please read through the lease. But also, it's extremely important to note that there is recourse. There is somewhere you can go, and it is a tenant landlord court. It is not necessarily to the governing body or to City Hall. We help, we facilitate, we direct, as the council president requested. It can be done by the state, it can be done locally. And in the city of Passaic, we do have a court system, but we also have human services. We also have individuals who are trained to respond to these complaints and direct them to the court. And the place that you go is the court to assess that. And the court has historically been very supportive of tenants, council president, if there's been an unreasonable raise. But sometimes the information that gets sent to the public is an apartment was raised $300. And we go, yes, but it also didn't receive raise in rent for the last 2 years. And it's in the lease that it could be raised $300. So those details become extremely important.
Good deal. Thank you, sir. No, sir. Thank you. Anyone else wish to address the council? I did not mean to be harsh, Mr. Wolf, but if an exception is made for one person at one time, it becomes something which has to be given to everyone. I'm not. Is there anyone else who would like to address the council at this time?
Seeing no hands, I'm going to close the public portion.
Second.
Motion and second to close public. Roll call.
Councilman Monk,
Yes.
Councilman Love,
Yes.
Councilwoman Mello,
Yes.
Councilman Schwartz,
Yes.
Councilman Garcia,
Yes.
Councilwoman Colon Montañez, and Council President Scheer.
Yes, thank you. We're up to communications, Roman numeral 7, items 1 through 6. Are there any questions, please, on 1 through 6 at this time? Seeing no hands, is there a motion, please, to accept 1 through 6 under communication?
Move.
Motion
Second.
and second. Roll call, please.
Councilman Monk,
Yes.
Councilman Love,
Yes.
Councilwoman Mello,
Yes.
Councilman Schwartz,
Yes.
Councilman Garcia,
Yes.
Councilwoman Colon Montañez, and Council President Scheer.
Yes, thank you. Under all matters listed to be considered routine in nature, items number 7 through 12. Are there any questions, please, on 7 through 12? Seeing no lights, is there a motion, please, to accept 7 through 12?
Move.
Motion
Second.
and second. Roll call, please.
Councilman Monk,
Yes.
Councilman Love,
Yes.
Councilwoman Mello,
Yes.
Councilman Schwartz,
Yes.
Councilman Garcia,
Yes.
Councilwoman Colon Montañez, and Council President Scheer.
Yes, thank you. We're up to Roman numeral 8, budget introduction, current year 2024. Susie, can you tell us what we're doing here? If you and the clerk could share with us what we're doing on 13, 14, and 15, please?
Sure. 13 is 13 is an ordinance that is required by law if we are going to exceed the 2.5% tax levy cap. So it's introduced tonight and then set down for final hearing after the actual introduction of the budget.
Number 14.
Number 14, that's simply the resolution authorizing that the budget be read by title only. And 15 is the actual introduction of the budget, which was transmitted at the last meeting.
If I may impose on my colleagues on items 13, 14, or 15, are there any questions that you have at this time? Seeing none, if I could have a motion, please, to accept 13 alone. Is there a motion, please? Motion and second on 13. Roll call.
Councilman Monk,
Yes.
Councilman Love,
Yes.
Councilwoman Mello,
Yes.
Councilman Schwartz,
Yes.
Councilman Garcia,
Yes.
Councilman Colon Montañez,
Yes.
and Council President Shear.
Yes, thank you. And number 14, please. Resolution authorizing the current year 2024 municipal budget to be read by title. Is there a motion to accept, please?
Move it.
Motion
Second.
and second. Roll call, please, on 14.
Councilman Monk,
Yes.
Councilman Love,
Yes.
Councilwoman Mello,
Yes.
Councilman Schwartz,
Yes.
Councilman Garcia,
Yes.
Councilman Colon Montañez,
Yes.
and Council President Shear.
Yes, thank you. And number 15, please. Introduction of the municipal budget for the current year 2024. Is there a motion to accept, please?
Motion.
Motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second. Roll call, please, on 15.
Councilman Monk,
Yes.
Councilman Love,
Yes.
Councilwoman Mello,
Yes.
Councilman Schwartz,
Yes.
Councilman Garcia,
Yes.
Councilman Colon Montañez,
Yes.
and Council President Shear.
Yes, thank you. To Roman numeral, that would be 9. Back to my Roman numeral days. Number 16, please, is a resolution authorizing closed executive session of the City Council of Passaic on June 18. Susie, do we have need of?
No, Council President.
Thank you, Mr. Fernandez. Mr. Mayor?
None at this time, Council.
Thank you, sir. Members of the council. Now, at this time, if we could then go into resolutions, items 17 through 29. Are there any questions, please, on 17 through 29?
Yes, Council President.
Councilman Monk, please.
Thank you. On item 19, it's a resolution for a lead paint analyzer. I vaguely remember, like maybe 4 or 6 months ago, we had a similar resolution for this type of testing equipment. Is this an addition or is this a replacement?
Mr. Fernandez?
Yeah, so this is addition. We just received additional money in a grant so that we can purchase the items. As the council may recall, the state of New Jersey passed a new lead inspection required ordinance or statute that requires every single municipality and multifamily dwellings in those municipalities to have these things inspected annually. We are revving up to begin that program. We just received our first pot of funding for it, and this is necessary to help us continue with that endeavor. I don't know if the mayor or the council president were instrumental in that law. I want to have a conversation on it, but it's here. We're starting, and we're very excited we were able to receive the money to buy these analyzers, lead paint analyzers.
So what's in place in terms of tracking these testers? I mean, they're like $25,000, $27,000 a piece. They're handheld. Is there any type of log that every time it's taken out, it's someone signs in, signs out to keep track of these expensive handheld tests?
Yes, we have a safe in the health department where all of them, some of them are actually even separated because we do have a few that are, they're called XRF, so they have radiation in them. And those are in a solid lead lined safe. So they have to be logged out and the safe has to be open and logged out as they take them out.
Mhm. Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you. Also, can you mind just itemizing or detailing 24 and 25? Exactly what is this? What are we doing in these on these roads and intersections?
Okay, so for 24, we're replacing an old traffic light on Passaic and Brook. We're adding flashing beacons on Passaic Avenue and Boulevard, and we're adding flashing beacons on Monroe and Hoover. For item number 25, we're doing a full reconstruction of the road, concrete and sidewalks for three streets, Hillside Way, Boulevard, and Howe Avenue.
Okay, terrific. Okay. When you said the full, that means curbing as well?
Yeah, full reconstruction means the curbing, and in certain areas that the sidewalk is in major disrepair, even the sidewalk.
Some of these streets, I'm not familiar with every one of them. Some of these streets, curbing has been replaced over the last, I don't know, 15 years, 20 years. When there are many cities and towns don't even have any curbing left. You know, when it rains, the water just runs right over. So I'm just trying to understand what the you know the thinking behind redoing curbing on roads that it looks pretty not bad. There's new cement curbs on some some of these roads.
Yeah, if the curbs are in good shape, we don't replace them. As the council may recall, a lot of times if there's multiple roads, and this is why you lose the curbing, you try to resurface as many as possible because maybe there's that many number of potholes or areas, and then the municipality to get that done doesn't then have the funding because it's very expensive to do full road reconstruction and it limits the length. So what would happen is if we had a policy to only do road reconstruction, a lot of the worst areas of town would not get resurfaced. So what has happened throughout, for a number of years, you get some roads that are just resurfaced just to fix the damage, but the curbs, we don't, it's expensive. So you get the issue where you have very little curb. And if we were to fix the curb, the elevation changes and then we have ponding. So it has to be a balance.
Well, these three roads on 25, they're getting roads and curbs and sidewalks, or just roads?
They're getting full reconstruction. So that includes everything where necessary. So if there's a full curb that is the required height after the resurfacing, it won't be touched. Just like if it's a very good sidewalk that's in very, very good shape, because our goal and the mayor's direction has always been get as much as possible done, as far in length as possible to impact the most number of residents in a positive way. So we're always looking to figure out how we can do, number one, full reconstructions to get those curves where they need to be, but also not waste, time and energy in things that don't need to be replaced. So there may be areas where if it's a small piece of curb that you saw was in a good shape that they knock down just because continuity, right? They're not going to leave a 2-foot piece of curb that's good and the rest of it's bad. But if it's long stretches, they'll leave the long stretches.
Okay, so it doesn't mean it's a full reconstruction, just where as needed.
Right, but we call it full reconstruction because it includes curbs and it includes sidewalks. If not, it would just be a resurfacing.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'm taking a look at, let's see. I see. Okay, I see what we're saying here. I'm looking now at the actual paperwork attached to this, and it's pretty much specifies if curbing is included. One side, both sides. It specifically says what it's covering. Got it. Okay, good. Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Schwartz, please.
Yes, where it says where you're getting a new traffic system, Typically, that would include walk signs or just the traffic lights?
So it depends. I believe the one on Passaic and Brook is going to have the traffic walking signal. Traffic beacons, depending on where they're at, sometimes they have them, sometimes they won't. But I could tell you that the one on Passaic and Brook had a walking traffic signal, and that will either remain or be replaced with a walking traffic signal on the intersection. So it really also depends on the intersection.
Any other questions? Hearing none, is there a motion, please? Forgive me, to accept items 17 through 29.
Move it.
Second.
Motion and second.
Councilman Monk,
Yes.
Councilman Love,
Yes.
Councilwoman Mello,
Yes.
Councilman Schwartz,
Yes.
Councilman Garcia.
Yes.
Councilwoman Colon Montañez, and Council President Scher.
Yes, thank you. We're up to Roman numeral 10, ordinances for introduction and first reading. Number 30, proposed ordinance amending the designation of restricted parking for disabled persons by New Jersey license plate number. Ordinance for second and final reading to be scheduled for July 16, 2024. Is there a motion to accept, please?
Move it.
Motion second. Roll call.
Councilman Monk,
Yes.
Councilman Love,
Yes.
Councilwoman Mello,
Yes.
Councilman Schwartz,
Yes.
Councilman Garcia,
Yes.
Councilwoman Colon Montañez, and Council President Scher.
Yes, thank you. On number 31, please. Proposed ordinance amending Chapter 149, Article 3 of the Code of the City of Passaic entitled Mobile Food Establishments to provide for the towing of unlicensed mobile food establishments. Ordinance for second and final reading to be scheduled for July 16, 2024. Is there a motion to accept, please?
So moved.
Motion and second. Roll call. Thank you.
Councilman Monk,
Yes.
Councilman Love,
Yes.
Councilwoman Mello,
Yes.
Councilman Schwartz,
Yes.
Councilman Garcia,
Yes.
Councilwoman Colon Montañez, and Council President Scher.
How does one make that noise, Councilman?
Sorry. It was a yawn.
It was well accepted, ma'am. We're up to Roman number 11, payment of bills. Are there any questions on the bills, please? Seeing no lights at this time, is there a motion, please, to accept the bill list?
Move it.
Motion
Second.
and second. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Councilman Monk,
Yes.
Councilman Love,
Yes.
Councilwoman Mello,
Yes.
Councilman Schwartz,
Yes.
Councilman Garcia,
Yes.
Councilwoman Colon Montañez, and Council President Scher.
Yes, thank you. Administrators report. Mr. Fernandez?
None at this time.
Very good. Thank you. Mayor's report. Mr. Mayor, sir?
Just briefly, on behalf of the administration and all of us together, we want to wish school number 11 congratulations. They will be celebrating 100 years. They're going to have their gala, and to all of the staff, all of the past staff, and all of the students that went through our Whitney Cruz School number 11. Congratulations. It's exciting for the city. We recently celebrated our 150th, and they've been sharing that they are now 100 years old to school. So we're very excited.
Thank you, Mayor. If there are no other comments from members of the council, is there a motion to adjourn, please? Motion and second. Roll call, please, to adjourn.
Councilman Monk,
Yes.
Councilman Love,
Yes.
Councilwoman Mello,
Yes.
Councilman Schwartz,
Yes.
Councilman Garcia,
Yes.
Councilwoman Colon Montañez, and Council President Scher.
Yes, thank you. This meeting is adjourned.